Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're going Walking in Memphis. The topic of this Walking in Memphis, USWA Wrestling from May 25th, 1996. And if you haven't seen any of my shows before, I rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Let's jump right into it. And we do rate everything by segment, not so much by match as we do on other shows. So let's jump right in. We start the show off, or at least a video that I watched, with the end of Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee versus the Cyberpunks. And if you don't know, the Cyberpunks are PG-13 under masks at the time. Lawler and Dundee beat the Cyberpunks for the Tag Team Championship, which brings us into another video of Jerry Lawler beating Mabel for the USWA Heavyweight Championship, which then leads us right into Lawler and Dundee having a promo. All this was really good. I mean, it's Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. There's a reason why for 3 decades they were on top in Memphis. After that, we get a promo from their opponents for the first match. Wow, I really stumbled over that. Brian Christopher and Flex Cavan. And if you're not familiar with Flex Cavan, that is The Rock. That's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, aka Rocky Maivia. Very early in his career, he was given the USWA before coming to WWF or WWE as we know it now. I believe he came at the end of the year in SummerSlam, or not SummerSlam, Survivor Series. This is really cool seeing this early. Okay on the promo, outshined by Brian Christopher on his part. We go right into a match, and this is where we're going to grade it all together. Lawler and Dundee versus Christopher and Cavan. If you don't know Brian Christopher, he's Grandmaster Sexay from Too Cool, also Jerry Lawler's son. I really enjoyed this match. I really enjoyed the promos. You could tell The Rock was still very, very young here and very new to the business. And it was great to have him in there with guys like Lawler and Dundee who could actually control the match. Brian Christopher, who was a great wrestler in his own right. The win comes when Christopher and Cavan have Lawler and Dundee both in abdominal stretches, and Dundee reaches out and hits the referee, getting himself disqualified, then losing the match, but keeping the tag belt, so Christopher and Cavan pick up the win. For all of that, I'm going to give that all a 4. I thought it was pretty good. Next, we get a throwback segment with Jerry Lawler interviewing Muhammad Ali. This was kind of hard to watch a bit because Ali was at the point where he was very low, very stammering. He wasn't yet at the point where he was shaking the whole time he was interviewed, but you could see the onsets of Parkinson's are coming in here. From that, we go into another in-studio promo with Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee again, which the first half of the show is pretty much dominated by Lawler and Dundee, which obviously they're trying to cater to their fans, the fans of Memphis Wrestling. From that, we go to our next match, which was scheduled to be Samantha versus Miss Texas, who would go on to be Jacqueline later on. But Samantha says she's injured and has an alternative, which is a woman named Angel, so we get Miss Texas versus Angel. Miss Texas does pick up the win here. After the match, Samantha attacks Miss Texas, which brings out Dundee, who she was with at the time, as a kind of valet. Altogether, I'm going to give that all a 3. The match was kind of on the shaky side, and the Ali promo was, I know why they did it, he's still a huge name, but it was a little bit uncomfortable at the very least, in my opinion. Coming from that, we get a promo from the Cyberpunks, which is very obvious that it's PG-13. If you've ever heard PG-13 talk, you know the Cyberpunks are PG-13. That's followed up by a Brian Christopher promo, both of them talking about Lawler and Dundee because they both have issues with Lawler and Dundee. After that, we get a highlight video of Frank Morrell and Tony Falk talking about Jesse James Armstrong, aka the Road Dogg Jesse James, and him beating Tony Falk 2 weeks in a row, which then leads us into a promo with Jesse James, and then we get Jesse James Armstrong, going up against Brickhouse Brown for the TV title. Kind of cool that on the pants he's wearing, and they're kind of sweatpants, almost a track pants kind of thing he's doing. He has New Age Outlaw on the back of him, so we're already starting to see that where that name came from. We got Jesse James versus Brickhouse Brown, Jesse James Armstrong. I keep saying Jesse James, so if I do, just accept it's the same person. This was a really good match. Really good promos coming up before that. Jesse James picks up the win. Afterwards, Tony Falk, Frank Morrell, and Jeff Jarrett come out, which then are ran off by the Cyberpunks. During the show, we're told there would be a match with Falk and Jarrett versus Cyberpunks. Unfortunately, I don't know if it got cut for time or if it didn't exist on the video I watched. There's going to be a link down here in the description of this show where you could go watch it as well, the video that I found on YouTube for it. So I don't know if it was just cut off on the VHS recording of this, because it's definitely a VHS recording. The quality is potato. Or if they just ran out of time and didn't have that match. I don't know what the situation is. Again, I'm going to give that whole segment a 4. Overall, I'm going to give the show a 4. I thought it was really good, really fun. Getting to see Lawler and Dudley is always going to be good. Cyberpunks, that's a gimmick I know of and I remember, but I hadn't thought of for a long time, so it's fun to get that reminder. Seeing The Rock in his Flex Cavan days, that's always going to be fun to see. Seeing Brian Christopher, Jacqueline, stars that would go on to be bigger stars after this. Miss Texas is Jacqueline. Wrestlers that would become bigger stars, seeing them early in their career. Always good to see. Just a fun show. Again, overall, I'm going to give it a 4. I thought it was really fun, and you should definitely check out the link. Check this out, because it is cool. Even if you just watch it just to see The Rock when he was very young, it's worth doing it just for that. With all that being said, smash that like button, hit the comments, subscribe, share the video, and if you made it all the way to the end, let's put Rocky in the comments for the young Flex Cavanna. My name is George Coles, and we've been walking in Memphis.